What's up YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and in part 2 I'll be talking about some new stuff. This is Poké-News. We'll start off with some pretty exciting things right away. There's news about a mini Japanese set that comes out somewhere in January, and this new set will be called Dragon Selection. It will feature dragon type Pokemon like Rayquaza, Haxorus, and many more dragon Pokemon like that. Each Japanese booster box will only have 15 booster packs in it instead of 20, and they will contain 5 cards just like in every Japanese booster pack out there, but they will cost about $10 more than usual because it's rumored that every single card in this set will be holographic, which is awesome. Also in this set they're gonna bring a new element in the game called Dragon type Pokemon, meaning these will have a new symbol instead of the usual normal type Pokemon which is used for Dragon type Pokemon. It's really exciting because it has been 12 years since they added any new elements in the trading card game, so we'll now have grass Pokemon, fire Pokemon, water, lightning, psychic, fighting, metal, darkness, colorless, and now Dragon type cards. Okay, and now we'll take a look at some new Dark Rush Pokemon cards from the new Japanese set. Darkrai EX, he has a wicked ability called Darkness Cloak, which states as long as this Pokemon is in play, all of your Pokemon with any darkness energies attached to them have no retreat cost, which is really good for all the darkness Pokemon in your deck that have a high retreat cost. Maybe Tyranitar Prime will get a boost in popularity with this set. Also, Darkrai has a pretty good attack himself called Night Spear, which deals 90 damage for 2 darkness energies and a colorless energy, and the effect states choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and this attack also does 30 damage to that Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance to bench Pokemon as usual, but maybe with some special darkness energies this card might be really playable. Okay, next up is Crocodile. His first attack isn't that interesting, but his second attack definitely is. It's called Rad Wave, and for 2 darkness energies and a double colorless energy it deals 40 damage times the number of prize cards you've already taken, which brings the maximum damage to 200 when you pick 5 prize cards already. And with some special darkness energies and a plus power maybe, this card could be really great, just because it has a nice HP of 150. Next up, Zoroark. It has 2 attacks and they're both really good. His first attack is called Breakdown and it deals 20 damage times the number of darkness Pokemon you have in play for a single double colorless energy, which means you can deal a maximum of 120 damage on turn 2. With some Pokemon collectors and stuff, this shouldn't be that hard to get out all the darkness Pokemon you have. And his second attack is called Dark Rush, which resembles the name of the set, and here's what it does. For 2 darkness energies, it deals 20 damage times the number of damage counters on this Pokemon, which means that this maximum damage is 180, with 9 damage counters on the Zoroark. This could be really massive. The attack basically knocks out any playable card at the moment. Maybe with Reuniclus as attack card and the damage manipulation ability, this card might see some tournament plays in a few years. That is if they're planning on releasing one in the English sets as well. Okay, and the last card of the new Japanese set, Dark Rush, I want to talk about is a trainer card called Dark Patch. It states, choose a basic darkness energy from your discard pile and attach it to one of your benched darkness Pokemon. This could be great if you're planning on using cards like Sage's Training, Junkarm, and Juniper to get more energies in play with this new trainer card. And that's everything revolving around the new Dark Rush set, so now let us return to some English sets. Noble Victories. Yep, the scans are finally available, so now we can take a look at the complete set. Also, I've seen some booster openings on YouTube already, which means that the pre-releases are doing their awesome work. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about every single new card, or otherwise this will take too long. I'm just gonna talk about the most interesting ones. You can look at the rest at pokebeach.com. Let's start. Well, if you look at the set, we'll see that there'll be lots of full arts in this set, a total of 5 full arts, which is more than the first 2 black and white sets combined. And we can't complain about that, can we? First up is Virizion, which is a nice grass type Pokemon, but its attacks aren't that great. It can draw 2 cards for a colorless energy with its first attack, which is bad because we already have supporters that can do the exact same thing. And his second attack deals 40 damage, and the effect states during your next turn it can deal 40 more damage. Maybe I can find his way in some decks to start off with this attack by using tech cards like Pachirisu Shaman or Energy Switch will do fine as well, but dealing 40 damage at the start just won't do because we know that most basics right now have 60 HP nowadays and some even 70, and if we count the playable cards at the moment, we'll see that most basics even have 130 HP, 110 HP, stuff like that because they're legendary Pokemon, so it doesn't really compete with those. Next up is Terrakion, and what can I say, it has 130 HP for a basic, which is already a good thing. His first attack can deal 30 damage plus 60 more damage if a Pokemon was knocked out by an attack on your opponent's last turn, which is a revenge attack that resembles the one from Buffalon on the black and white set, the first black and white set. And its second attack is called Land Crush, and it deals 90 damage for 2 fighting energies and a colorless energy, and that resembles the attack of Donphin Prime, his second attack. So yeah, not that great. It's just a basic Pokemon with lots of HP and decent attacks, so maybe I can see some playability, maybe it won't. We'll have to find out. Next up is Cobalion, which is in my opinion the best out of the 3 legendary beasts. It's a metal Pokemon, meaning you can tank him up with some special metal energies. It also has a nice HP of 120 for a basic, and it has some good attacks. For a metal and a colorless energy, you can deal 20 damage plus 20 more for each energy attached to the defending Pokemon, and that's awesome, but it gets better. His second attack deals 80 damage for 2 metal energies and a colorless energy, and that effect states the defending Pokemon can attack during your opponent's next turn. Sounds familiar? Yep, you're right, that is the same effect as Beartic's Cheerful, but this card has a better thing going for it. First up, it's a basic Pokemon, meaning you don't have to evolve it first. Second, its retreat cost is only 2 instead of 3, and lastly, it deals more damage, meaning 80 is more than 50, and you can attach special metal energies to tank him up as well, so he's pretty much better than Beartic. Beartic won't see any play after that. This is definitely better. And playability in the future, I don't know. Maybe it'll use cards like Klinklang to move around special metal energies and build up other Cobalions on the bench. Yeah, which is awesome. This deck also easily beats the crap out of Gothitelle decks since it has resistance to Psychic, but against Reshifusion it will have a much harder time. We'll have to wait and see how this turns out. Next full art card is also pretty good, Victini. I already talked about this card in the past, but I'll explain it again. It's a nice card, but only for his ability. His attack sucks, so don't even bother using it. This is just a very nice stack card to help Pokemon out with attacks that require you to flip a coin, because his ability Victory Star states, once during your turn after you flip a coin or more coins for an attack, you may ignore all the effects of those coin flips and begin flipping those coins again. So this means your chance on flipping a hit on certain coin flips is increased a whole lot. And the last full art of this set is N, which is the first full art trainer card ever. But I already talked about this card in a previous episode, so I'll just skip this one. You can just pause the video here and check the card out if you haven't already. So anyway, there's also a new secret rare in this set, and this time it's Meowth's time to shine. It reminds me of the secret rare in the first black and white set, which was Pikachu. It's nice to collect them, but they're definitely not playable. Next on my list are 8 more Pokemons I took out of the set to review them. We'll start off with another Victini card. This one is really nice. When you look at the card, you immediately see that I can deal 100 damage, and that only for a fire and a colorless energy, which is a good thing. The side effect though is, if you have 4 or fewer bench Pokemon, this attack does nothing, which means if you have a full bench, you can always hit your opponent for 100 damage, and that's just perfect for at the beginning of the game when you use cards like Collector and Pichu to start off, but at the late game it really isn't that good because it has a weak HP of 70, so you have to watch out when you want to use this card. Next is Jelly Sand. If you look at his attack Hydro Pump, you'll see that need of a Feraligatr Prime in this deck. It deals 10 damage plus 20 more for each water energy attached to this Pokemon, which means if you use Feraligatr Prime's Pokepower, you can attach as many water energies that are in your hand during your turn, and that will weaken the power of Reshifusion quite a bit, because if you have like 3 water energies attached to your Jelly Sand, you can attack for 70 damage or something like that, and you can knock out Reshurams and Typhlosions in one hit, which means that there will be a much bigger variety of decks in the near future, and it will make the matchups much more interesting. Also, this card has a nice ability. It states, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an opponent's attack, even if this Pokemon is knocked out, the attacking Pokemon is now confused, and that could help you out in certain situations. Okay, next is Electros. This is an electric Pokemon with an HP of 140, which is really good. But yeah, it isn't that playable compared with Zekrom, so let's just skip this one and get straight to Chandler. Now this is a nice card mainly because it's a ghost type Pokemon, which is my second favorite type by the way. Okay, it has a nice HP of 130 and his attack, Eerie Glow, deals 50 damage, and then the defending Pokemon is Burn and Confused, and you don't need to flip coins to really do this attack. It's just he's burned and he's confused right away, which is a nice thing to trap certain Pokemon. Also, it has an ability which lets you put 3 damage counters on your opponent's side of the field anywhere you want, if he's your active Pokemon that is, so it's great to knock out baby Pokemon like Cleffa and Tyrogue. and you can still attack after that and trap another Pokemon. So it's a really nice card in this set. Next is Conkeldurr. This Pokemon also has a nice ability. It's called Craftsmanship, and it states this Pokemon gets 20 HP extra for each fighting energy attached to it, which means you can usually get over 200 HP, and I think that will be great in decks like Ross's deck and stuff like that. Also, it has an attack called Top Down. It deals 80 damage and you can flip coins until you get tails. For each head, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. It's kinda hard setting it up for this attack, but yeah, it'll have enough HP to handle an attack. The bad thing is its retreat cost, which is major 4. That's not good. Next up is Archeops. This Pokemon doesn't have a good attack. It's an attack that deals 60 damage and then deals 10 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and that is not good if you consider that Dolphin Prime can deal 60 damage for 1 energy, as well as Kingdron's other Pokemon like that. This isn't a good attack, but its ability definitely makes up for it. It's called Ancient Power, and it states each player can't evolve any Pokemon from his or her hand to evolve his or her Pokemon, which means if you can get this Pokemon out in time, your opponent will be stuck if you're up against a deck that uses evolution Pokemon a lot, unless you're up against TCBS. Also, it's hard to get out fossil Pokemon, but I'll explain that when I'm looking through the trainer cards. So while we're talking about fossil Pokemon, here's another one, Caracosta. Its attack isn't that good, but maybe with Feraligatr Prime as a attack card, it could be playable. It deals 80 damage, and then it discards an energy attached to the defending Pokemon, which means it can knock out Reshiram's and Typhlosions in one blow, because those Pokemon are weak to water. And the best thing about this card is its ability. It's called Solid Rock, and it's awesome. It states if any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, flip a coin. If hits, reduce that damage by 50 after applying weakness and resistance. And with a bit of luck, this card can be used as a tank, since it also has 140 HP. And the last Pokemon I want to talk about is Haxorus. It's a stage 2 Pokemon with an HP of 140, and that reminds me of Dragonite and Salamence, because those Pokemon also had 140 HP and they both were dragons, and just like this one, his attack deals 100 damage for a double colorless energy, but not always 100 damage, but it's 50 damage times the number of heads, meaning the maximum is 100 damage. You can flip twice, so for each head 50 damage, but maybe with Victini to back it up, it'll deal some nice damage most of the time. His second attack deals 120 damage for a double colorless and a regular colorless energy, but then you can use that attack during your next turn, but still it's a great attack to have. With a plus power and stuff, you can knock out Zakrams and Reshiram, so that's great. And now to the new trainer cards. We'll start off with the fossil cards first. The new fossil Pokemon will be a little bit harder to get out, since both cards state look at the bottom 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal the fossil Pokemon of this fossil you find there and put it directly on your bench. Shuffle the rest back into your deck, and the only way you'll have control over the bottom of your deck is by using Research Record or something. So maybe fossil decks will rise once again. Here's Eviolite. I already talked about this card before, but I'll explain it really quick for all the new viewers out there. It's a tool card that lets you attach it to a basic Pokemon, and with this card, any damage done to the Pokemon is reduced by 20. And this is one of the cards that TCBS decks will really enjoy. It's sort of like a defender that lasts forever. And next trainer card is Rocky Helmet, and this is another tool card that states if this card is attached to a Pokemon and he's your active Pokemon and he's been damaged by an opponent's attack, even if you're knocked out, put 2 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. This is also a card that could be playable with cards that are used to tank or stall, or Pokemon that are your active Pokemon for a long time, like Cobalion, Dolphin Primes and stuff like that, so it'll be more than just a collector's card. And now only 2 more cards to go. Here's Super Rod. This is a card that lets you put stuff out of your discard pile back into your deck. It states shuffle 3 of any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile back into your deck. So the playability of a Flower Shop Lady will definitely disappear with this card. Super Rod is much better since it's not a supporter. And yeah, lastly, X-Transceiver. It states flip a coin, which is not that good to begin with. So flip a coin, and if hit, search your deck for a supporter card and put it in your hand. So it's a coin-based item card, which means it's not good. Also, I prefer using Poké-Gear, so this is not playable. And that pretty much wraps it up for part 2 of this Halloween special. There was lots of news, and I hope that everyone got an idea of the new set. Has some great playable cards in it, so I suggest getting some of these boosters if you're planning on staying in the competitive world, or if you're just a collector. There are lots of full arts in this set to collect, or if you're planning on playing against your friends just for fun, that's fine as well. With these new full art cards, you'll have the chance to test out some new strategies and new deck ideas and stuff like that. So happy Halloween, everyone. Thanks for watching. As always, your questions, thoughts and awesome new ideas go in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, this was ZapdosTCG. Till next time.